Type of one if you already getting this live. Shout out to my boy Hankin TV. I see you.
I never fucked anybody over in my life. Didn't have it coming. You got that? All I have in this world is my balls and my word. And I don't break them for no one.
I'm hanking with Hank TV on my mama. Oh God, we finna be hanking with Hankin TV. Y'all know who coming, y'all come tune in, man. We finna have a show for y'all. Y'all know how I get. Right there on the spit, let's do it.
Like y'all niggas be out here hating and shit, nigga. You not gonna win hating on me, bro. That's just real shit, nigga. And niggas know what's going on out here, nigga. They know how I am, nigga. They know my motherfucking. I ain't even gotta do none of that. We on the money, but they know what's going on, bro. And it's like, nigga, I don't give a fuck about no nigga hating on no snap, nigga. They ain't got no real reason to hate on me, nigga. Like you not gonna win hating on me. I don't give a fuck who you is, cause guess what? I'm a real nigga.
I understand why niggas hate. I understand, trust me, I know. It's okay, man, you doing your job. You supposed to hate on a nigga like me, man. Cause I remind you of everything you ain't. So it's okay to hate on a nigga like me, but I'ma keep on shining and I'ma keep on putting it in your face. Yeah, cause that's where it need to be, man, in your face, so you can see it up close and personal. Get a Kodak look. Matter of fact, take a picture, nigga, so you can put it on your wall at night, admire me, and hope that one day you can get a fraction of my swag, a fraction of my drip, a fraction of my personality, a fraction of my blessings, nigga. But you ain't gonna never get it cause you a hater. Haters don't get blessed. That's what you forgot to learn. That was in fine print when you was signing up for your PhD, your player haters degree. Haters only get stressed. That's why your life is stressful. That's why your hair falling out. That's why your girl leaving you. That's why you're going through all the bullshit you're going through. You're about to get fired from your motherfucking job. Yeah, you're down and out. You're on your last motherfucking buck and you can't even buy luck. Yeah, it's hard for you out there because you've been hating all your life. Show some love.
I'm the realest nigga in it, you already know. Got trap of the year 4 times in a row.
Hello everyone, it's your girl Colitha, and if you haven't, please go check out my viral TikTok series, Married to an FBI Informant, at TikTok Colitha Bush 1 and all social media platforms Colitha Bush. And if you didn't know, now you know, your girl be hanking.
What's up with it? I want to thank y'all for tuning in to Hankin TV tonight. We back again for part 3 with Colitha Bush. Y'all make sure y'all go follow her on TikTok at Colitha Bush 1 and go subscribe to her YouTube channel at Colitha Bush 1980. We back. This part 3. Like I told you, we done went over the story a couple times. We did the first interview. Then we did the second. We kind of did a recap. We had this story come out about Big Meech. This ain't even about Big Meech. We ain't even gonna get into that. It's just the fact that it's a lot of conflicting information that been coming out. Some people saying government informants don't get paid. Some saying they do get paid. It's just conflict. And some people saying third-party cooperation don't exist. So which better way to find out than going to the source to find out? So for the people who aren't familiar with you in the last 2 interviews we have done, introduce yourself to the people, please.
Hello, I'm Colitha. I'm an advocate for criminal justice reform. I actually ended up incarcerated for nearly a decade for what we're about to talk about today, which was a firm that my ex was the owner of and operated out of Houston, Texas, which was a third-party cooperation firm. And I guess that's it.
Okay. So, like I said, we ain't gonna make this about Big Meech or that situation, but due to how it's trending and you having firsthand knowledge of this situation, what's your take on it?
Like, just on the situation all around, or the Big Meech situation?
Right. Is it possible for him to have done what they accuse him of doing?
Oh, it's absolutely possible. I mean, 9 times out of 10 it's possible.
Right. Okay, so the first two times we did the interview, like I told you, when I first heard your story, I knew it was a deep story. It made sense. I knew that it existed. So we just focused on telling the story. But this time I had to specifically go back and dig and watch and write down some questions that had been conflicted. So the first one is, do government informers get paid?
I think so. The informants that were employed under my ex's firm, they were getting paid by him. But again, we had some informants that were working for us who were employed by the federal government under a DEA agent, and the agent himself told me that his informants get paid for their work. So I believe that government informants do get paid, even though the government says that no, we do not pay for any such thing.
Right. And also for the people out there, we're just gonna go ahead and educate them by like I said, you having firsthand knowledge of this. Um explain to the people what third party cooperation is.
So third party cooperation is basically you're convicted of a crime, or um, you're incarcerated and you want to get your sentence reduced. And because you're incarcerated, you can't do the work for yourself. Because if you were out and you were doing the work for yourself, which some people do, which was something that my ex had done before when participating with the federal government, that's called a 5K1, when you can actually do the work yourself. But when you can't do the work yourself, you have to have someone do the work for you on your behalf. And that's what a Rule 35B is.
Right.
It's cooperating and giving information to the federal government in exchange for a sentence reduction for the information.
Okay. And does third party cooperation, does it exist, or is this just a myth people just think out of the sky? Does it exist?
They don't watch Frank Lucas, so I'm pretty sure they know that it absolutely exists. And I mean, how else would so many people be getting locked up and then they're saying such and such told on me? They find out later somebody's name is in their paperwork. And it's even possible that your name don't have to show up in the paperwork. It depends on the federal government. It's up to their discretion. So, I mean, it's all kind of ways around it. But at the same time, it is absolutely something that does exist.
Right. And now that we know that it exists, how do you know that it exists?
I know because I was part of his firm, and that's all the work that we did. And we had multiple inmates and people, families, and just people from around the U.S. calling, wanting to find out what they needed to do and, you know, what was the process, and wanting to cooperate with the federal government in exchange for a sentence reduction. And like I've said in previous interviews, I've spoke with federal agents. I've spoken with United States prosecutors and attorneys. This absolutely does happen.
Right. Now that we done got to the point to where it does exist. You told us how you know that it exists. Now explain to the people what a third party cooperation firm is.
So basically, a third party cooperation firm is like you're basically contacting somebody about your case and you're asking them to help you be able to get that sentence reduction by way of giving information. Firms that I've heard of in the past, I know that even when my ex operated, he was in contact with other firms that did specialize in third party cooperation. They didn't actually have informants. They were just taking information and charging people and just giving the information to the United States government in hopes that that information panned out or bought something enough for a sentence reduction, which most likely is not going to happen. Somebody's going to have to go out there and do that work. Like somebody's going to have to go out there on behalf of you and do that work and cooperate with the government and be able to prove that this is true, that this is actually really happening.
Right. And I know I heard you say in a past interview that the government prefers that the third party cooperator to be a friend or family member, somebody close. Do you know why
So
they?
that's one of the rules that they have. Just from me all around, like they want it to be somebody that's related to you, somebody that's really close to you, or an informant. Like there's actually government informants that do this type of work all the time, whether it's under the discretion of a DEA agent, FBI, however. There are people that go around and this is what they do, and this has to be the way they make their living. It's no other way.
Right. And this firm that y'all had, this third party cooperation firm, how long did your husband have it?
He operated it, I want to say from like 2008 to 2017.
Here we go. This go all the way back to 2008, all the way to 2017, and this is just to show people that it's been going on. You know, it ain't nothing new. Um, I think due to the situation, it kind of just shed light on it. But like I said, when I heard your story, it I knew it was true. Um, how do the people that's incarcerated or the people that's trying to do the third party cooperation? How do they find these firms? How do they get? How do they even know about these firms?
So it's either word of mouth or a Google search or just knowing somebody to ask around or even contacting the government themselves and just asking, because a lot of times the inmates are gonna try to contact their prosecutors, send them letters, say they have information, whatever the case may be. But when we were out operating at the height, it was multiple firms that you could easily just Google and they would pop up as third party cooperation firms. And sometimes it was attorneys that were behind this firm. We never said that we were attorneys or anything like that, just basically consulting with you and consulting on the behalf of you so they to see if you can get work done on your case. Because a lot of times if you read into these PSRs, I know on federal cases, a pre-sentencing investigation. I don't know in state how that works, but I know personally in my case, it was a clause in there and it said third-party cooperation. Like I could cooperate with the federal government in exchange for a sentence reduction, which didn't happen, but it was there. If I wanted to use it or if I needed to contact them, if I wanted to work with the government in any kind of way, it didn't happen, but it was there in my paperwork.
And by that being in your paperwork, and by you being a female, did you experience them like kind of pressuring you to cooperate?
Well, no, I know that my attorney basically did talk to me about it and was like, well, you do need to sit down with them and tell them whatever just to make sure that they understand what's going on with the case. And we did that. Like I sat down with the United States government from 3 different jurisdictions and one big meeting, and we discussed everything. And the basis of that was to see if they can get any information out of me, which they said was I was not forthcoming, is what they basically said. Even after, we sat there for a few hours talking over everything, I'm telling them how everything started. I'm letting them know what my involvement was in all this and the extent of my involvement. But that's as far as it went.
Right. It also seems that people think, like I heard you say in a previous interview, a person thought as soon as they gave up the person incarcerated was just going to be instantly released. Explain to the people the steps and how third party cooperation typically goes.
So basically, once you give this information, it's a whole operation that has to take place. And once the government is satisfied, because the government has to be satisfied, there's like a whole process that they have to go through and presenting this evidence and getting indictment. Sometimes it said that people can get a sentence reduction off of just an indictment. In some cases, it has to go farther as far as a conviction. So it's not something that you do and then you're just released. No, it's a little time consuming.
Right. And once again, tell the people how much time you actually did in federal prison.
So I did 5.5 years on a 96-month sentence, which is 8 years.
Did your firm keep up with the number of people that actually got released due to the third party cooperation?
No, we actually didn't. Like I was doing like a lot of the phone conversations and contacting the people, relaying messages and stuff. Like my ex and his other partners, they did all that extra other kind of stuff.
Right. And while you was involved with the firm, if you can recall, what do you think is like one of the biggest operations someone was trying to take down within this third party cooperation? Like one of the biggest operations they was willing to give up?
Most of the time it was drugs. Like literally, I'd say about 90% of the information that they were providing. Sometimes they were just providing information, just giving information in hopes that the information can pan something out there. Like, hey, I can't afford it, but I can give you this information. If you could please contact this person for me, that's the person that worked my case, and see if they can do something. Like it was that in some cases. In some cases, it was people who had the information and just wanted the government to say yes, and they did some time in prison. Now of course they probably was asked before to cooperate and they decided not to, So none of these people were characters that had just recently got in prison. They had done some time.
Right. And your series, your 100-part series. I know it's on TikTok, but do you have the whole series up on your YouTube yet?
Yes, it's also on YouTube.
Okay. He has a 100-part series titled Married to FBI Informant, where she tells the story from the beginning to the end. The links to her YouTube and TikTok is in the description of this video. So you may make sure y'all go through and check it out. Right now, we just really just covering the part of the third party cooperation part. It's a deep story and it's definitely eye opening. Do you think any of the people who was working with your firm then, do you think they are still working with the government now?
I would think at least one of them. I would say at least one of them is, for sure.
And was any of the informers that you ever worked with, do you know if any of them was ever exposed?
I don't think so.
That's wild. So once you heard about this and the third party cooperation, what was some of the things that was running through your mind about it?
So typically when I hear about somebody saying something about third party cooperation, or another term for it, snitching or whatever, I typically I normally just feel like, well, if they're saying that it's a possibility that this person did this to them or had something to do with that, then I'm always basically agree with it, because I've for myself experienced it, and I've also had the phone calls coming in from facility after facility after facility with so many people incarcerated all wanting to get out, and they don't care. Like when they're inside a prison and they're incarcerated, they want to tell on somebody, they want to come home. They don't care if it's your mama, daddy, sister, brother, any other cousin. Like if they know you committed a crime while they're still incarcerated and there's a way for them to come home, they're willing to give that information up to the government in exchange for a sentence reduction.
And you also spoke of, it was a time where you might have been talking to a guy in an institution that was trying to work through your firm with third party cooperation. They said it'd be a line of guys in line waiting to talk to the firm, huh?
Yeah, and they wasn't just standing on the phone line inside the federal institution. They had cell phones that they were passing around and using to make phone calls, to give up information, to try to find out what can they do, saying that they had information. It was a lot.
Right. And was it any time that you can recall that you took a phone call where a person so when they call, so what do? They give you the information, or do you put them in contact with an agent?
So what they would do is it was a whole like process. Either he already had them spoken with them, talked to them, and they done hashed out some stuff, and I'm the person basically relaying the information back from him, or I'm making a phone calls to talk to the government or attorneys or whoever on the behalf of them to give the information, but first to find out if it's a possibility that the government is even able to consider that situation. Because sometimes it has been sometimes where they said, they know the person that I want, I have to have that. That's the only way as a deal. Or, I need to go back and talk more about this because that person wasn't forthcoming, or they say the person was a bad character. Like, basically, it depends on the United States government, like the DEA agents, if they're gonna go and talk to the prosecutors, or if I talk to the prosecutor and I'm telling them, hey, this is the person, this is the information that they said they have, and they want to know if they can get the sentence third party cooperation or Rule 35B.
Was there some type of like guidelines that they had to meet in order to move on to the next step?
Basically, like for some people was absolutely like no, like their crime was like no, like we're not even working with that person or that crime.
Right. And not only was people willing to cooperate and tell, they was paying to cooperate and tell.
Oh yeah, they was paying. That was the reason why I was incarcerated, because the government said you cannot receive money for this type of work or business or anything like that. Like, we don't even charge people for this. That's what the government told me.
Right.
Well, the government told that to me, but I'm talking to informants who are seasoned informants who've been doing this for years, traveling around from different jurisdictions, and they're telling me, no, we get paid. Like, they pay us, and we had to pay them also. So I don't understand why the government say that they don't pay, or if that's just something that they keep secret, hush hush, that they pay their informants on the side and it's not supposed to be known. I don't know, but I know personally dealing with the situation what I was told.
Right. And just to give the people a general idea of how much money this generates, tell us about how much money they had accused you of wire and fraud.
So they accused me of $4.4+ million in wire fraud.
Mm, 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 mm. And how was a price set for different cases?
So I wasn't the person that set the prices, but it depended on, like, he would get the people. So we had access to Pacer, and he would get the people's information. He would go through their whole case and see what they had inside their case, how difficult that the whole situation or case looked, and then he would basically tell them how much this is going to cost you, not the total price, but this is how much it's going to cost you to retain me, to try to see if you can get work done.
All right. Now that you have been through the system and federal prison, were the agents that you talked to, was they playing by the rules, or was they even doing like dirty stuff?
In most cases, I would say they were pretty much playing by the rules. I don't know exactly what their rules are, but it didn't seem like it was nothing that was like outlandishly dirty or anything like that. But I mean, it seemed like, they were basically trying to get these cases and wanting to get, these operations set up and get this work done.
Right. And do you think that it's possible for, like, we'll say, like, the Southern District to accept third party cooperation, but the Northern District or a different district doesn't approve of third party cooperation?
No, I don't think that's how that works. I mean, yeah, of course, some people probably can get work done, but I don't believe that it's any district that's going to turn down, somebody contacting them saying, hey, I got some information that could lead to something that would bring somebody else into the system. I don't see them turning it down, especially if somebody's committing a crime, because they're supposed to uphold the law. So as long as somebody's out there willing to tell on somebody, I don't see why they would disregard that information.
Right. And while in prison and since being out, have you met any people who are aware of third party cooperation?
Yeah, I met so many people who know about it, people who been through that whole situation. Even when I was incarcerated with a lot of females who had been in that situation, whereas the guy ended up cooperating with the government against them, or even telling them to take the case and say the stuff was theirs, and they ended up in prison while he was out free. So, I mean, it goes on multiple different ways, but yeah.
And you had also said in the beginning that it is possible for a person to have worked with the government, but their name not be in the paperwork.
Yes, because my ex, he did it. He worked with them. Like I told you, they told me that he was a mastermind. He did the best work they ever seen. That he had got a deal of a lifetime. It was a deal that they never given to anybody. He went into jail one night. They pulled him out that morning without anybody ever knowing anything, even though it was some speculation, because the person that actually ratted him out went around telling people that they heard he had got arrested, but it was no proof of it, so they couldn't prove that.
Have you been aware of any cases where the government took information from a person, they didn't get a sentence reduction, but the government still acted on the information that they gave them?
I don't know of any cases. I've heard people who was incarcerated before say that happened to them, and that they needed 100% guarantee, which we told them is no 100% guarantee in this. Like, at the end of the day, it's up to the government. It's up to their discretion. If they say that they took this information, and even though this happened and it wasn't enough for conviction, indictment, whatever they wanted out of it, if they said that wasn't enough and for whatever reasons, then I mean, it's up to them. It's the United States government. When you're working with them, you're working with them.
Right. So with this third party cooperation, did y'all actually work with the informants, or did you just pass the information along to the government and they got the informant? They was in communication with the informant.
No, we had our own informant. So basically, we gave them the information. I made several phone calls, basically talking to the government, getting it set up for them to be able to even go and do the work.
So how was the informants getting close to these people?
Well, I guess they have to infiltrate the organization. I guess with the help of the FBI agents that they're going to be working with, DEA agents, whoever. I guess they find a way to get in. I know from speaking with the females that was working with us for a while, the ladies basically told me that they traveled like around the U.S. They was in one region to the next region, and that they had done some spectacular work. And I remember they hadn't done work in Florida before. And when I contacted the agent for a specific person, acquiring about them being able to get work, and I gave the information over, the agents were so happy once they looked these girls up. And so the girls were the ones that basically were telling me, no, they don't know us by our names, they know us by numbers. And so we have like a special number. So that's how they are able to pull their case files or whatever and determine if they're eligible to do work or not.
Okay. And then by you being incarcerated, is that what kind of like drove you to start working in prison reform?
Yeah, absolutely. That was what made me, like, that was the turning point. That was the point where I was there and I seen a need for it.
Okay. And with this prison reform, what do you do?
So basically, I'm getting ready to start trying to write some bills with legislators for Texas. Like, I know we like a very hard state. People are always saying, "Oh, you're not gonna get anything done out there. They're so hard," but I feel like it's still worth the try. Like, it's people who are incarcerated and they depend on hope. So, if it's anything that I can do, and I don't care if it's like a small victory, I would like to see some people come home from incarceration, especially people who are deserving of a second chance. And I believe it's so many people who are deserving of a second chance.
Right. And with your prison reform work, do you have your own organization or are you working with other organizations?
Well, no, right now I'm just with Reform. I'm in the middle of trying to get my organization together. So you'll hear about that real soon.
And for people out there that might have a family member, somebody, a loved one incarcerated, how can they like assist you in your prison reform? What's some things that public can do to help greater your plight?
Well, of course, once I get started, and if you're in Texas and you're willing to like be a voice for the person, because the people who are incarcerated, they need advocates. They need people to be the voice for them. And once I get my organization off the ground, I would like to hear from people in the community who are affected by prison reform, which means, they have somebody who's incarcerated or have been incarcerated, because, when you go before our judicial system, and they would like to hear these stories. They like to hear these stories because these stories could change people's minds about certain people and situations.
Right. And just a quick brief summary. Like I told the people, the description, the links to her TikTok and Instagram is in the description. Get the people just like a quick summary about your series, Married to an FBI Informant.
So it's just basically me detailing my whole affiliation, how I met him, our whole life together, the dangers of being with him, and my incarceration, how I got caught up in this whole web of lies and deceit and ended up being incarcerated also.
Right. And you recently just started a new series. Tell the people about the new series you started.
Well, I have a new short series. It's called Goodwill, to Give or Not to Give. It's basically talking about me talking about when I was after incarceration, I was employed. My first job was with Goodwill, a nonprofit organization. And I'm basically detailing when I worked there, the things that I seen, things about Goodwill that I didn't like, and basically telling you to be the judge of it. Should you give or not to give?
Right. And by you being previously incarcerated, then you get out and know you it's kind of hard for convicted felons to get a job. I'm a convicted felon myself. Do you have any advice for other female ex convicts in their job search?
Basically look for jobs that are felon friendly. I met a really good guy through Reform. He has a website called what is it? honestjobs.com. It's www.honestjobs.com. He put this whole computer software system together, and it's like completely felon friendly. It gives you resources in your area of anybody that hires felons, as well as ways that if you need clothing, food, shelter, whatever, it has all those resources available on that site by just putting your zip code in.
And since doing your series, how has the public received your series?
Well, I think they received it a lot better than what I thought they would have. I mean, it was a story to be told. It was a story that I wasn't planning on telling, but somebody that I met as a really dear friend of me ended up telling me, "Hey, this is a story that needs to be told." And so I ended up telling that story, and I think that it's opened up a lot of people's eyes in a way when it comes to like females with relationships and knowing the person that you're next to, and just also, you know, evaluating your situation at all times.
Right. And by you having such a intriguing story, true story at that. I know the last time we talked, you was talking about writing your book, starting a podcast. What you got coming up? Where are you at with the book? With the book?
So I've been having a lot of time to work on the book. So I'm almost done with the book. So once I finish with the book, I haven't decided on who I'm going to use to publish this book yet. I've had a couple of people come to me, you know, about publishing a book or whatever. I may end up just self-publishing. I haven't decided on that yet, but the book is definitely about to come soon. The podcast, people keep telling me you have to have a podcast. You have to do a podcast. So most definitely, that's probably something that's going to come next in the near future.
Right. And with myself being an author myself, I really can't give my opinion on the self-publishing or not because I self-published. By your story being so intriguing, you might get a better deal by publishing with someone. But a trick I'm gonna give you is text to speech.
Mm-hmm.
On your phone or on your laptop, just text to speech. Just talk and it's gonna type, and you just got to go back and tighten it up. That right there is a big help.
Okay.
That's definitely a big help. You just talking it to write it down. All you got to go through do is make some corrections. With your series being on TikTok and YouTube, you said you met a close person who told you should write a book. Have you met anyone who also said was in a situation like yours?
Oh yeah, all the time. I get females like people come across the series and start watching it, and then they tell their friends, and then everybody's hitting me up, sending me messages and stuff, and just like at all with the whole story, and can't believe like this story has not blown up like they feel like it has. But I told them, you know, it's just probably a matter of time, but for them to just keep passing the word on about the series. But for the most part, ladies are basically telling me that I've had somebody basically tell me like your story saved my whole life. Like I just literally left a whole relationship because I didn't realize the dangers of being with somebody that's out there in the streets like this and living a life that kind of way, how it could have jeopardized me and my whole family. And so the female told me that like she was just so grateful that she had came across the story and that it had made a big difference in her life. And of course my heart smiled because, you know, a lot of people tend to mind their own business and not want to get involved in other people's business and not say anything. And I would say, like, for the most part, that was how my family was. Nobody was going to get in the middle of my business, my life situation, or what was going on with me because that was my choice and that was my decision. But if it's ever a time where something can help, you can say something to help somebody, then I think it needs to be said. And I think that me putting that series out has opened up a lot of females' eyes. Like, they basically told me about all these bad situations they've been in. And, you know, I'm just like, you know, I'm not here to judge. I'm here to listen. But, you know, if I have anything to tell you, I tell you to always put yourself first.
Right. And with your story, have you ran across any people who didn't believe it, who didn't believe like third party cooperation do exist?
Well, I absolutely have it. Like, for the most part, the guys are all like, yeah, this happened to somebody I know before. Somebody did this to me. Like, you know, they don't have anything bad to say about it.
That's dope. So, after your new series, what do you have planned after your new series?
I haven't decided yet. I'm thinking about something, but I'm not too sure. But hopefully I'll know in a week if I'm gonna go that route.
Right. Um, and also tell the people. I already told them it's in the description, but tell the people where they can find you at.
So you can find me on all social media platforms, Colitha Bush, or on TikTok at Colitha Bush 1 and YouTube, Colitha Bush 1980.
That's dope. I think I know you've been getting hit up for a lot of interviews and stuff, but I think
Yes.
with this big meat situation going on and third party cooperation is starting to gain more attention. Your DM gonna be blowing up.
Yeah, I'm sure of it. A couple of people just hit me up, like guys have randomly hit me up on social media and just ask me what my input is on the situation. And, basically I tell them what my input is on the situation. Like whether we can prove it or not, 9 times out of 10, if somebody is saying this, then it has to have some truth to it. And I was just on YouTube and it started popping up one day, and I was just listening to the first lady of BMF, who has become a really good friend to me. And I didn't know that she had went through some of that stuff, and that it was somebody who was in the midst of things, who was an informant that was trying to basically have her thrown in jail. And this was like an interview that happened like 2 years ago, and now it's coming out and it's getting like you know more feedback coming back on it. And I was just like astounded that I was like, wow. So it has
Right.
to be some type of truth to that story.
Do it surprise you that people are digging into so many other people's past? Does that even surprise you?
No, I think that the way that people are in this world these days, they're always looking to find a flaw in somebody, to find out something has happened before that maybe nobody knew about, to bring that to light. And it's just life. It's just the way that the world is. So if you did something and nobody know about it, it's just a matter of time before those skeletons in the closet come out.
And since this situation came out, have you seen that your numbers been going up?
Yeah, so definitely my numbers been going up. People been hitting me up on my series, messaging me on the series, asking me questions about it, and like I said, asking me about input on the Tammy Cohen and Meech Mill situation. I mean, not Meech. Yeah, Big Meech situation.
Right. Um, that's what's up. It definitely was a pleasure to have you come through. This is part 3. Make sure y'all
Likewise.
Make sure y'all go through and check out her whole series on YouTube and on TikTok. I'm definitely gonna be in contact. Like I said, I've been keeping up with the new series you got coming up, and we're gonna be doing something again soon.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you. That was Colitha Bush. Y'all make sure y'all go through her TikTok and her Instagram and check out her series Married to FBI Informant. She also did an interview yesterday with Dogface podcast. So make sure y'all slide through and check that out. They might have covered some stuff over there that we didn't cover over here. I had just went through there, got a couple of questions I seen that they didn't ask, but this thing is definitely out there, man. And I don't know why people find it so surprising. And the thing about it, the information been out there all along. Me and her, we did our first interview probably about 6-7 months ago. So the information definitely been out there since this big meat stuff that hit the fan and then heated up again. So you gotta just be careful of the people who you deal with, man. Like I said before, man, I'm glad I got out the way and got my ass on the sidewalk. Because people is telling 9 times out of 10 is somebody next to you. And not only is they telling, they paying to tell. So if you ain't got it by now, man, you ain't gonna get it. You might as well go ahead and get out the way. So yeah, man, I want to thank y'all for pulling up, man. Part 3. Hankin with Colitha Bush, married to an FBI informant. Before there was a Tammy Cowins, there was a Colitha Bush. And like she said, man, there's firms out there who was taking people, who was getting paid for people to third party cooperate. Man, it's a dirty game. You got too much stuff, but you got too much stuff against you. You got to watch the robbery boys. You got to make sure the pack ain't fleet. The nigga ain't beating you for the pack. You got to watch out for the police. You got to watch out for the informants. It's too much against you, man. Might as well just go legit. But make sure y'all slide through and check out part 1 and 2. Like I said, go to her YouTube, Colitha Bush 1980, and go to her TikTok at Colitha Bush 1 and check her out. Subscribe to the channel if y'all ain't subscribed to the channel, man. We on the road to 4K. We definitely on the road to 4K. Make sure y'all tune in tomorrow. I got another dope interview coming up at 6 p.m. We're gonna be hanging with Brandy. Brandy gonna come through and tell us the ups and downs of being a dancer. So make sure y'all hit that like button, man. Subscribe to the channel. Shout out, hold on. I got a shout out. Shout out my guy GE. Shout out CEO Fresh. Shout out Trending with the Shares. Appreciate the $10 super chat. Thank you for coming through, man. Like I said, man, make sure I hit that like button, man. I'm out.
You hate on a nigga. I don't understand why you hate on me, nigga. We don't understand. Show love, nigga. It don't show nothing. It don't cost nothing to show a nigga love. I was doing this getting money. Show a nigga some love, nigga. Wabbity dabbity. Niggas out here don't love me, nigga.
What people gotta really understand, nobody gotta support you, first of all. So I used to take that shit personal. I used to be like, damn, nobody's supporting me, nobody's playing my records, nobody's really rocking with me in the city like that. And then I realized it's not personal. You just gotta make somebody, you gotta make them a believer. If they don't believe you tomorrow, cool. Focus on who is rocking with you, and then you circle back and you come get them on the way back.
Man, this your boy Money Man Rado, man. You Hankin with Hankin TV, man. You know what it is, the biggest platform, man. They major.
What up, Willis Mac? Tell me something slick and make it stick. Man, you already know international best-selling author, the Ghetto Diamond, reality TV star, Queen Score. Asking for a friend, man. Stop playing with me. Host of Cigar Chats with Mac. But listen, I'm here to talk about Hankin. I'm gonna be on Hankin TV. I'm gonna be Hankin with Hankin. I'm telling you now, you do not want to miss the game. I'm gonna be dropping on Hankin TV. Cause we can always supply and demand, turn over a profit consistently. See y'all soon.
Hello, beautiful people. My name is Kendra Rainey King, and I'm from Dallas, Texas. By the way, Pleasant Grove. I'm an author of 51 books, and I have written various movies as well. I'm a ghostwriter as well. I've written Knee Deep, which is my first movie, Curved from the Mistletoe, Thicker the Berry, The Sweeter the Juice, and Distinguished Robbers. Those last two will be coming out very soon. And I'm Hankin with Hankin TV. Have a blessed day.
New year, new money, big blessings, positive energy. Get your mind right. Big motion.
Trap. Hey man, this your boy Kimo Ginobili, Mr. Private Eye, the one-eyed bandit. Goddamn, I can't stand it. The Walking Gas Station, man. And right now we on the highway, man. Y'all know I'm Hankin with Hankin TV, man. Trap. Straight like that.
How you horrors doing today? I ain't want none. I just came to tell you I was back, bitch.
What's up? What's going on? What we doing? Huh? Is we condoning in this? Is this what y'all call gangster? What we doing?
I'm the realest nigga in it. You already know. Got Trap of the Year 4 times in a row.
Hello everyone, it's your girl Colitha, and if you haven't, please go check out my viral TikTok series, Married to an FBI Informant, at TikTok Colitha Bush 1 and all social media platforms Colitha Bush. And if you didn't know, now you know, your girl be Hankin.